What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Koppai Podcast, a Nintendo show, episode 66. I am one of your hosts, Kaz and Risk, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach Riska. In case you're new here, we are an all Nintendo podcast that posts each and every Monday morning here on youtube.com/Koppai Gaming, as well as SoundCloud, iTunes, and podcast services all around our little planet Earth. Each week we discuss the games we're playing, the news of the Nintendo pipeline, and then a topic of the show. The Nintendo pipeline today includes news regarding Pokemon Sun and Moon, NBA 2K18, Amiibo, Dragon Quest, Mario Odyssey, a little game called Minecraft, and of course, Splatoon and the results of the Splatfest. Today's topic, if we have the time, there's a lot of news. You wait till you hear how much is clogging up our pipeline. We will be discussing our Switch backlogs and the anticipated titles of the fall. We've been going through some of our backlogs recently and kind of sticking around with our Switch. We've had the Switch for 5 months now and have developed this little backlog because we buy basically any game that comes out on the Switch. And so we're going to be asking ourselves the questions: what games do we want to get to right away? What games this fall could hinder our backlog completion? What games are we anticipating? I was going to make the whole topic of the show what's our most anticipated game, but obviously I would think it would be Odyssey. And so, what are we just looking forward to this fall? If you like all that, be sure to super smash that like button, the subscribe, share, and bell button to be notified of when we post new videos, and to support us and stay up to date on anything and everything Koppai, including reviews, let's plays, discussions, and more. I didn't put it in the show notes, but this past week we started our Breath of the Tingle Let's Play series, where we play through the entirety of the Legend of Zelda Master Mode campaign as Tingle. And this first week we're still naked. I believe this next week we find at least the first piece of Tingle gear, so we're going to start to become Tingle. And so that's going up. It went up this past week, and the next 5 episodes will go up this week. The Splatoon 2 Let's Play series is still going up, and starting today, our Mario Kart 8 Let's Play series will begin, where we go through each and every Grand Prix with Zach and I fighting each other, trying to get first place. And this first week is some pretty heavy competition, and next week I pretty much drop off the deep end. So it's an awesome series to check out. We kind of treat each individual Grand Prix as its own competition, but we're also looking at the larger scale to see who wins overall. So it's a fun series to stick with, but you can kind of tune in wherever. So with all that being said, Zach, how you feeling? What you playing?
I am feeling just great, just dandy. Because I'm playing so many Switch games. There's just so many. I have 30 plus games on my Switch now. Like you were saying, we pretty much buy every single game that comes out. Although I do want to hold, we don't buy every single game. We buy only the good games, which there are very many of on the Switch. I mean, I skipped, of course, Vroom, and I
was just about to mention Vroom in this guy.
Or I still haven't got like Vose. Or, some of those games, even like Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, I have refused to pick up, despite being a Street Fighter fan, and also even Namco Museum, which is kind of tempting me, but some of those games that are just too priced, a little fishy for me.
Street Fighter is a little pricey, because I think we picked up that week. We were like feeling the Street Fighter buzz. We were like, man, I really want to play that.
Yeah,
and we were able to get Street Fighter 5 for like $10. We're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, they should have been a $20 title. Although, we don't know the amount of development time that had to be put into it. Maybe it was just, it looked a little bit like a cheaper game, but it was actually a lot of time. Like, I don't know. I don't want to insult the developers or anything by saying your game should have been $20, but I feel like it could have done a lot better.
I think all they have to do is, now since they've put out the numbers and said that it did, surprisingly better than they thought or maybe anticipated it would.
Yeah.
All they have to do is do an update to the game that adds like challenges or, just events sort of thing that you have to go through to like master the combos, like is in Street Fighter 5, or even just like a better solo story sort of mode, or just something else. The Way of the Hado is not adequate, and so it's basically just an arcade and then online play. So it's just very lightweight, and that's what I really like about Street Fighter 5 is that you got those challenges, which makes you learn the combos really well, which are awesome to learn.
Yeah, but you've been playing lots of the other retro games with your new SNES controller, right?
Yeah, I got one of the 8-bit do, or 8-bit do, maybe it's
I,
pronounced.
I would think so, like Nintendo, 8-bit dough.
Yeah, there you go, 8-bit do. But for some reason, I just read it separately, and do just sound like seems naturally came out. But yeah, 8-bit do, that does make sense for Nintendo. It is an awesome controller. I got the American SNES one. They do have like the Japanese Super Famicom.
How much was that?
$35.
Not bad.
Yeah,
For a controller.
It works as it's a Bluetooth controller, so it's completely wireless. And so that's kind of a bonus. It works with the Switch and the PC, and so I can play like all my retro games. Like I tried one of my Steam games, Magnetis, which is just kind of like a classic arcade sort of style game, and it was playing so much better, I felt, using just kind of a classic SNES style controller than I did even versus like the keyboard especially, or even my Xbox One controller. And then syncing it up with the Switch was super simple, and was playing some Shovel Knight on that, and just it's really crazy how it just feels so much more of an authentic retro experience with the 8-bit do controller.
I bet, yeah.
And it's just I'm so excited. I counted it up. I have about 11 games that are retro styled, sort of platformy games on the Switch that will be perfect to play with this game controller. And so I'm just super excited about that. I've been having a blast going through the Plague of Shadows DLC in Shovel Knight, and doing some of the challenges in that with the controller. I also tried a little bit of Slime Sand with that. And I believe that's all I've really tried out on the Switch. I think Metal Slug will be really fun with it, but just so far I have nothing but praise for it. It's been so nice. You know, we both grew up with an SNES, have gone through several SNES controllers, and so it's very nostalgic to just get it back in my hands and have it even just like in my vision, just see an SNES controller again. It's probably been, over a decade, 15, almost 20 years maybe since I've even seen one.
So I'm looking here on their website. They have you got the SNES 30. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Because I want this one. I want the Super Famicom 30 where it has the colored buttons. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I almost got that one. I almost did, but it's just I wanted to go for kind of my nostalgia. I mean, I didn't grow up with the Japanese version, and that I might get that if I get another one in the future as like my player 2. But just for the first one I got, it was really cool to just get. And also I really love purple too, and so
and they also have, this is pretty neat, coming soon. They have if you want something, it looks like this is for the Switch as well. They have the SNES controller, but with analog sticks.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they're kind of structured like it looks like the DualShock 4 controller on the PlayStation, where they're both at the bottom. But you can see here like the little home button and share button are kind of at the bottom there. So it looks like would probably be completely synonymous with the Pro controller. So super neat. I'll have to check them out.
That's what this one syncs up as a Pro controller. So that's what it will recognize as, just without the analog sticks. It's basically just the D-pad and the controls. And then the start and select buttons work as your plus and minus buttons. But since there's no home or capture button, to go home, you just press the down and select, I believe is what it is. And then that will be substituted for your home button. And so it works actually very conveniently and works just great.
And they do actually have the analog stick version if you want. It's called the NES 30 Pro, and it has analog sticks. And looks a little more rounded. It looks like it's just like an NES controller, but a little bit more modern. They also have that with the Famicom colors.
It's kind of like the classic controller for the Wii or whatever. Yeah.
The nice thing is as you mentioned, it also works with your PC, so you kind of get a 2-for-1 deal. So really, really neat. That's 8bitdo or 8bitdo.com. The number 8 and then bitdo.com. If you guys want to go check them out, give them a little shout out. I've been playing a retro game myself, Blaster Master Zero, with the Shovel Knight DLC, and I have to tell you what, I've been recording it as a Let's Play series. That'll go live not today because Mario Kart starts today, but starting next week we'll have that Let's Play series going live. I recorded them in bulk as I normally do, and I got 15 episodes in of recording, about 10 to 20 minute episodes each, and because I was just having such a blast. And I I bought this game when it first came out, and on the Switch, I think it was like launch day or launch week, like very close to launch. It was kind of like a pretty big deal that it was coming. And I played it for, it says on my timer there, in game, I played it for 30 minutes, so nothing. And probably got pulled to Breath of the Wild or, any other sort of game that was coming out on the Switch at the time. Probably Breath of the Wild mostly. And just didn't really get into it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cool game. I never disliked it. And I always wanted to get back to it. And then we reported a few weeks ago that they were going to be adding the Shovel Knight DLC. And I said, like, on the show, oh, that's when I get back into it. And
yeah, it was a definite, like, when they showed that trailer, it was like, there's no way.
Yeah, alongside...
And it's free.
Yeah, it's free for a couple weeks, and so if you listen to this a little bit later, if you are kind of like going back through our shows, or I think by the time like the Let's Play goes up, I don't know if he's going to be free anymore. But even after that, he's only $2 to add Shovel Knight. And it kind of sucks I didn't play more of the original game, because I don't know how much has changed to accommodate for Shovel Knight and how much of it was just the original game, because I'm praising so much of it, and I have to say it feels like you're playing a brand new Shovel Knight game when you're playing it. Like the way he scoops his little shovel, does the pogo stick, uses his power-ups and his phase locket. It feels so cool. I mean, it's so crazy to see Shovel Knight in a top-down view in the like the pixel art parts, because like you get different angles of Shovel Knight like as he turns around. And so that's really cool, and he looks, it's pixel art perfect. He looks like Shovel Knight. And so it's a really gorgeous, fun game. And yeah, I'm quite a bit into it. I think I'm 4.5 hours into it and have been having a blast. And
blaster master.
I actually make that joke in the Let's Play. I'm like, I'm having a blast, master. But no, it's actually made me like fall in love with the game so much that I think I am going to do another Let's Play series, or maybe just play on my own back through the game as Shantae, as Gunvolt, because they have Mighty Gunvolt and all that in there. And play through those and see how they play. And maybe, I also do have Mighty Gunvolt Burst in my backlog, and so it's making me want to go back and play that. I'm just kind of on this retro kick. We almost considered that making the topic of the show, like just this retro era of games. But no, been having a ton of fun with that, and I'm excited to show it off in the Let's Play series. Hopefully it translates well into a Let's Play. But yeah, I'm in a world right now in it, because it's kind of like Metroid. It's a Metroidvania style game. It's actually like, I don't know, I've been trying to put my finger on it. It's like a Metroidvania style game, but then there's also moments where it's like Zelda dungeon crawling, and then there's other moments where it's like a Mega Man. So it's a little bit of everything, just like Shovel Knight was. So it's a perfect blend of both of them. But just like with Metroid, how you kind of can unlock certain areas as you explore, I just got to this new area finally, and it's so cool. So yeah, it's a game that gets better and better and better, just like a Metroid game. And after playing Zero Mission, this has been such an awesome, just like next game to play as far as a retro game on the Switch.
I forget who it was, but somebody in a recent video I was just watching, they got a pretty popular kind of Nintendo channel on YouTube, but they were mentioning just how they think Blaster Master might eventually kind of become a sort of hidden gem on the Switch that people may have skipped out on, or not really, because it was in that frenzy of on the launch and Breath of the Wild and everything and then they've been kind of stealthily releasing these free DLCs for a couple weeks. I kind of missed that first one because I didn't get on it, but then ever since I've been making sure to go in there and grab those DLCs. But
it sucks that you can't just get automatically, like you don't automatically get them. Like I wish they just got them because I own the game.
But it has been that kind of case where we've just been kind of just swept away. Like ARMS came out, and then Splatoon 2, and then soon we'll have Mario Rabbids and Mario Odyssey. And so it's just definitely possible that people are going to either, maybe they've even picked it up, but they just haven't gotten around to it. And then eventually I think more people are going to be coming to Blaster Master Zero and saying like, wow, this is a surprising, like one of the best retro styled games on the Switch that you can possibly get. And so, I'm really excited to play more of it. I'm like you, where I only played a little bit, a little tease when I first purchased it. But once that trailer came out for Shovel Knight, it was like, how, like, I cannot avoid this. This is the way that I'm going to be
and it's on 3DS too. So I know we have a few fans out there that like still, they don't have a Switch yet, or they don't want to get a Switch yet, or whatever the case may be, and they're back on their 3DS. And it's out on there too. And I don't know if it does 3D, but I bet it would play awesome on the go. And I think it all comes to there as well. I'm wondering if eventually they're going to do like a, collector's edition or something where you get all of the DLC, you get Shantae and Shovel Knight added, and it's a physical copy, and that can maybe be another wave of sales for them to kind of push that back out there. Like
Game of the Year edition.
Game of the Year edition. Yeah, for sure. It's honestly one of my favorite games so far this year. But I've also been playing. We have the Splatoon 2 Splatfest. We both played a ton of that. We'll kind of talk about that later in the show because it is a news item and the results of the Splatfest. But we have been playing that. I've been playing more Fire Emblem Heroes and doing the voting gauntlet where you pick a hero and you fight with that hero to kind of vote for him. It's pretty much like a Splatfest within Fire Emblem Heroes. I supported Robin, I think, for the first couple rounds and was winning, but then she got beat out by Corrin, and now Corrin's in the lead, fighting against some Jackknob Johnson. I'm not too sure, and I don't know what happens at the end. Like what happens if you win with the character, but you get orbs if you fight and win. So I'm going for it, and I'm trying to get the last of the summer heroes, and so I've been doing that. I'm still playing Marvel Heroes Omega. I got the Spider-Man Homecoming DLC pack, and so I've been playing through as Spider-Man. That's a game, another game that just gets better and better the more you play, the more powers you unlock, and it's a free-to-play game if you want to play it. So go check that out on PlayStation and PC and all that. I don't think it can come to Switch, but I've also been playing Pokemon Go, and I don't know. I think something about the Pokemon Go Fest and the 1-year anniversary, they've made rare Pokemon more common or something for like a limited time, because there are Bulbasaur everywhere. Bulbasaurs, Bulbasauri. I don't know how you... multiple herds of Bulba. I don't know what you would call it, but I'm almost to 100 candies with Bulbasaurs because I've caught so many, and I've been using the fruit to get more candies when I catch them, and so I'm actually saving the candies until I get a perfect EV Ivy Bulbasaur, because I'm going to evolve him up to Venusaur and have a powerhouse of a Pokemon. But I took over a gym lately. I caught lots of the Bulbasaurs. I have Pikachu as my buddy Pokemon with his Ash Ketchum hat, because if you walk 10 kilometers with Pikachu, he hops up on your shoulder. So I'm trying to work towards that right now. And I also fought a Lugia in my park next door, and he freaking decimated me, just bent over all my Pokemon, and I didn't make a dent in him. And so I think they recommend 20 people to take down a Lugia. And I mean, there's a bunch of drunks and bums that hang out in the park next to me, but I doubt they're trying to catch Lugia. So the park does constantly change gym ownership, so there has to be players in the park nearby, but I don't know. Maybe people are just riding by on their bike and they do it or something. Like maybe someone lives far away, but I don't know when to coordinate a time to take down Lugia. So that's that. But
well, I mean, there used to be in the height of Pokemon Go frenzy that you would just be at a gym or something, and then some shady car would just pull up and park for like 10 minutes and then just back out and head off. It was like, are these people gonna shoot me, or are they just playing Pokemon Go? Oh, they're playing Pokemon Go. Okay.
And they're gonna shoot you. It's gonna be both. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what we've been playing. We'll talk about Splatoon later. We have a news segment because we've actually been growing a little bit in popularity, getting more engagement on our shows, on the Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. So we have a news segment called Mail Time. And I have a little jingle where it's "Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes up, I want to wail." Wait, what are you saying? We're out of sync because of the Skype call.
I'm butchering it on purpose.
Oh, no. Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail. Emperor Frankie wrote in and said, quote, "Gotta say, I love the organization," which, pause real quick, end quote. We're not an organization. We're two brothers hanging out. Okay, back to his quote. And how well you guys did with this podcast.
It is nice to have something. How we structure it and everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with him, poking fun, because it's like organization. Like we have no funding, no copyrights or like we have nothing. But yeah, the overall branding of us, our little group here. Yeah. But yeah, he says, and how well you guys did with this podcast, and then continue on in the quote, "It is nice to have something gaming related to listen to at work. I guess I got a lot of catching up to do, so in an odd manner, I will listen to the rest of the podcast in reverse, starting from this one as number 1, end quote." And then I say thank you to that. So yeah, definitely thank you. But then they're actually doing it. They left comments on some of our older podcast episodes related to some of the stuff we talk about in the show, and I had to think, wait, what were we talking about? Because you didn't provide much context. Like, oh, I like that point you made. I'm like, okay. So, but no, thank you so much. It's actually kind of funny. We have like views and watch time on our YouTube analytics going up because he's going back through our old shows. So it's like, you got 50 minutes of watch time on this old video. And I'm like, who's doing that? And I'm like, oh, it's Emperor Frankie here. So thank you so much for that. Nino Blaro commented on our Splatoon Mystery Files video from a while ago and said, quote, Splatoon is going to happen, to be honest, end quote. And I honestly don't understand what that means, but I responded and said, I think it's going to happen too. And then another comment we got in on our YouTube video for last week, Chariot Goblin, a longtime fan, wrote in and commented, quote, you're really, and this is in response to, end quote, real quick. Our episode last week, the topic of the show and the title of the video was 3DS is dying, long live Nintendo Switch. And then we went in the topic of the show to talk about the way the 3DS is on its way out and how the Switch is prospering in 2017. So they said, quote, you're really basing a system's life off of two games that have 6s and 7s across, which is not bad at all. Switch owners are reaching for anything to undermine 3DS and justify their purpose, end quote. And we already responded in a comment, but in case anyone listened to last week's episode or read the headline or whatever, and they're like, these guys are hating on the 3DS, and they shared or echoed Chariot Goblin's concerns with us, thinking that we're saying the 3DS is dead because of two games. I want to read all this and, address that comment, because the bottom line is, the 3DS is dying. In 2017, there have been 6 titles scoring about 7, including, and these are the 6 titles scoring above a 7 on Metacritic for the 3DS. Only 6 titles in 2017. Dragon Quest VIII, Bye Bye Box Boy, Fire Emblem Echoes, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, Ever Oasis, and Story of Seasons. And then Fire Emblem Echoes and Poochie aren't even original games, and those both scored 8 or lower. And then we got Hey Pikmin, Miitopia, Mario Sports Superstars, Kirby Blowout. Those were all mixed reviews. And so we also we based it off of that, but we're also basing it off of sales numbers, which we got into in the topic of the show. You can go read those in our show notes on Koppai Gaming. But the funny thing is with this, and I hope people know this with us as Koppai, and we kind of even led off the show with it, we completely encourage anyone and everyone to go grab a 3DS if you haven't got one yet. Or, I'm even considering getting the 2DS coming out at the end of this month, the white and red one. It's on the way out for sure. But if you've never got one, or you still need one, or you have one, hold on to it, go get one, buy it, whatever, because Metroid is coming, the definitive version of Sun and Moon is coming. It probably will get another game next year, at least 1 or 2 pittering and pattering out there. But the whole point was that it's on the way out. Our full comment on the YouTube video read, we're not basing a system's life off of 2 games. It's a system that's been out for 7 years. It's ending production of previous iterations to focus on cheaper production. It's releasing AAA games fewer and farther between, selling less than their new console, and had no presence at E3. They even made it a point to pull it out of the E3 show and only talk about it on the Treehouse. And so, not basing it off of 2 games. It's an old console, 7 years old. It's dying. It's on the way out. Yeah. Goodbye. But yeah, Chariot, blasted. Thank you for your support, but just make sure you listen to the whole show and not off the one title, because, yeah, it's just we love the 3DS. We have our Majora's Mask ones. I've said several times in our What We've Been Playing thing that I've been going through Conquest and all that. You got to make sure there's a difference between the 3DS is dying and the 3DS is dead and sucks and we hate it and all that, because know that us as Koppai are huge Nintendo fans.
I think there's a few things that are kind of interesting about the 3DS moving forward. For one, there's just the fact that the Switch is doing well. It's selling a lot. I mean, once it's on shelves, it's really performing well, according to all sources. It's doing way better than the Wii U was at this time. It's going to surpass the Wii U probably within the next year, I expect. In lifetime sales, I would expect maybe by this time next year we're almost matching the Wii U in lifetime sales numbers. And so what that's going to do to the 3DS is, I think inevitably, we're already seeing it, that people are less likely, I'm less likely to buy a virtual console game or a game in general
Yeah.
on 3DS, like Ever Oasis, for example, definitely kind of passed that more, readily because
Or
I
even Hey
because
Pikmin. Like Hey Pikmin was a game that if the
right.
Switch wasn't out, I'd be totally playing
Yeah,
that.
there's several games. It's going to start hurting sales numbers for the 3DS. It's not going to be doing as powerful. I mean, and then like we say, I mean, it's a 7-year-old console. So I mean, how much longer can it realistically keep going?
Hmm.
I do think it's interesting that I mean, the list of games that you provided that they've been releasing, like even this past year, is pretty insane compared to what you think of when the Wii U was definitively dying. We were just kind of getting Color Splash and then Zelda. It was like very definitively these are the last games that we're getting.
Hmm.
With the 3DS, it's a little more ambiguous. Where I mean, we're getting a freaking Metroid game coming out
But
soon. We're
even
getting
that's
the
a
next
remake. Like,
Pokemon
not to
game.
undermine it, but like, I mean,
But I still think, I mean,
like,
even the echoes in the way that the new Metroid game, it's a remake
yeah.
somewhat, but
I mean,
it's
I'm not
it's a
saying it's like
complete
like a straight
reimagining.
port, but yeah, I am also like, we are getting not
It's not
completely
like I would
original
say it's not
ideas.
like Majora's Mask when that was ported over and just upmade and better
Yeah.
graphics. This is an actual, basically a brand new Metroid game that's gonna play and
True. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
behave so much differently in like a new Metroid game. So I mean, there's some interesting things going on with the 3DS that I wonder. They said, like we've kind of had the discussion, they with the GBA. And the DS, when the DS came out, they wanted the GBA and the Game Boy. They were afraid to leave that behind, so they made a point about it's going to be the third pillar, and they're going to have the GBA and DS like work together in tandem. And I mean, it kind of the way they approached the DS by it originally playing Game Boy Advance games, kind of was really could have helped that a little better than they actually ended
Yeah.
up doing. The DS, I think, just took off so much, so it's a thing where the only way I can see the 3DS really continuing and living longer is if they made it like a dockable 3DS that worked in some way. 3DS games went with the Switch and they worked together. Otherwise, I think the Switch is just going to end up driving all the news,
Well, I
driving
mean,
all the excitement and the hype and the buzz moving forward for the most part. It's going to start taking away from like virtual consoles and just regular game sales. And then people are going to start noticing that trend of some of the games just aren't as focused and scoring as well as others. So there's
yeah.
a whole bunch of factors that I think are, and not just like even its age alone, that are kind of signaling this is possibly the end of the 3DS and it's on its way out. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way that a hardware this old is going to keep going unless they do a really, really revolutionary approach to how it's going to work alongside their brand new handheld, and
Yeah.
that's doing amazingly well. So
Yeah, and I want to say
those are
two
my
things
thoughts.
before we move on to the Nintendo pipeline. One is that I think the other big sign, like not basing the death of the 3DS or its dying state off of two games, but also the fact that what games, I can't really think of what games are coming out in 2018 for the 3DS, like first party games. Like what's major support coming in. Granted, and I'm guilty of this. I always kind of put aside Dragon Quest and Monster Hunter, which are huge system sellers and big huge games on the 3DS. But as far as Nintendo's official support for it in 2018, I can't think of too many. Like they didn't announce any at E3, and we know, Yoshi, Kirby, maybe Metroid, probably not, but possibly Metroid are coming out for the Switch next year. We know lots of other games like of third parties are coming out. Most likely, I think probably getting an Animal Crossing and a Smash port next year. Like we just have all these games coming out for the Switch next year that we know of and are being marketed already, and you just don't see that kind of stuff for the 3DS.
Yeah.
And so that's one point of it to say that's dying. Once again, dying not being a bad thing here. But also the other part of Chariot Goblin's thing of Switch owners are reaching for anything to undermine 3DS and then justify their purchase, kind of implying that we are, trying to poke fun at other people or, push down the 3DS to make it seem like Switch is better, as if we need to justify our purchase. Like, the Switch is awesome. Like, we don't need to poke fun at the 3DS to make the Switch seem better. Like the
Right.
Switch just in itself on its own with all the games it has is a perfect, awesome purchase. Everyone should get one, especially this fall with, this year and then Mario Odyssey. It's a good time to get a Switch. I think I think we would firmly back it up. And so if that came across as any way in our previous episode, like hopefully it didn't, but let's just clear the air there that we don't need to do that. We love the 3DS. I'll probably play mine later today, get some Fire Emblem out of the way, complete that backlog, and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why would we need to justify our Switch purchases when, like you say, we got Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing coming, we just got Splatoon 2, we have Zelda, Mario, we have all these things to play and brand new games, indie titles that we're enjoying, Blaster Master, have, such praise, and we can just go on and on about already having Switch backlogs. There's no need to justify any of it. And 3DS, I mean, for 2 years
I would justify
now,
my 3DS purchase.
2 years now, we've been just nonstop talking about.
We had an episode. I forget what episode it was, where we say Wii U is dead. Long live 3DS. Like, it's just a thing we do to title our videos. It's just
right.
It's a title. The
3DS is without a doubt one of the greatest consoles of all time. I mean, it plays DS games and 3DS games and the library of virtual console games for all the Game Boy games, and it has the Pokemon Virtual Console. It just has so much that I'm never getting rid of I have 2 3DSs, and I'm never gonna get rid of any of them because it's such a great console. I'd say it's better than like the Game Boy Advance. It's better than any of the Game Boy line that ever was, and better than the DS. It's their best handheld console since the Switch really is coming out to compete with it, and it's gonna be pretty hard once Pokemon, Metroid, Animal Crossing, Smash, all these games are on it to really say that. Like, I mean, you'll still be able to make the case, I think, that the 3DS will probably always have a library that's much bigger and even in the quality is really high,
especially all the Wii U ports like that they ended up getting. Like, it's just the perfect hub of that generation of Nintendo. But yeah, I really am considering, we'll get to it in the news, that there's the new 2DS coming out, so I want to grab that. With that being said, let's unclog the Nintendo pipeline. Each week, we dive deep into Nintendo's pipes to find out what's happening in the world of Mario and friends. And this week, we have 18 pipe plug-in news bits that need to be dealt with. Yeah, a lot of them are little quick news snippets, so it won't take too long. But yeah, there's 18. I thought it was a slow news week, but there was just tons of little tiny things, and so let's get to it. Number one, we'll go through them fast. Right. Breath of the Wild's second DLC pack will add more equipment. Reddit user Amiibo Hunter shared a Nintendo Japan blog that confirms more gear will be coming. We already knew that the Outset Island Wind Waker t-shirt will be added, so it's exciting to speculate about what else we could see be added. The question we're asking to our community to go ahead and leave comments down below with is, what piece of gear would we like to see added? Weapons, armor, etc. Reddit user Rock Fox says, Ricky the Kangaroo confirmed. Which is one of the 3 Oracle friend helper things. Personally, I was kind of trying to think, really, I'm pretty content with the Wind Waker t-shirt. It's like my favorite Zelda gear in the whole history of Zelda, because I loved playing Outset Island Link in Project M, Super Smash Bros. Project M. And so I'm going to probably be wearing that most of the time, but I mean, they've already added Majora's Mask, maybe like a Skull Kid outfit to go with the Majora's Mask, or I was thinking, like, maybe what else they could add. I guess the conductor outfit from Spirit Tracks, maybe.
Isn't it in like Zant in Twilight Princess or something? He has kind of that cool outfit, and
yeah, he does. Or the farmer outfit from Twilight Princess.
Those would be cool to run around in his little outfit and stuff, because I thought that was pretty awesome when I first saw that in Twilight.
The Minish cap could be cool. Maybe even like what is the guy, like the Fee or Fi from Skyward Sword, the lady that is in that, and then the villain of that, like Garant or something, I don't know, like starts with a G.
Zelda's dress.
Just running around it. I don't think there's a dress available yet, but yeah, so I was trying to think through that. I mean, they already have Tingle, so what else can you add? And yeah, I was just trying to think. They have, I think, every iteration of Link.
They should really add Super Mario's outfit just because now you can jump.
Yeah, that'd
So
be
you
cool.
can run around as Mario. Yeah.
They should really do that, where you can just scan in any amiibo and have the Mario outfit. You could have Bowser's shell on your back, Donkey Kong's tie just while you're naked.
Yeah.
So it's just dangling down. Little Mac's gloves. Like, yeah, all sorts of things they could do. They should have the
Wii
Shovel
Fit
Knight.
trainers, yoga. Outfit.
Imagine if they had Shovel Knights and you could just hold a shovel.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be legit. Number 2, Dusk Form Lincoln Rock. Is that how you say it? Or Lycan Rock? I'm not too sure. It's a Pokemon. Has been revealed. Pokemon said in a tweet, it's been confirmed. A new form of Lincoln Rock it will appear in Pokemon Ultra Sun Moon. Meet Dusk Form Lincoln Rock. And so we're getting new forms of Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It seems like dusk is kind of the theme, like the combination of sun and moon. I don't know if they've said that they're changing the whole way they handle time and all of that in the game with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But yeah, I'm considering picking up Ultra Moon to have normal sun and then Ultra Moon, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The 3DS is pretty much dead, so don't know why I would get a game for that little derpy console. Number 3, NBA 2K18 is getting amiibo support. My Nintendo News said in a post, quote, "The news was discovered in a listing for the game published on the Japanese website. And so the question should be asked, what amiibo would we like to see supported? Is having a Mario outfit for the NBA character enough to make you get the game?"
Yeah.
Personally, I'd love a basketball game. I wish that maybe NBA Playgrounds had like amiibo support like this, or maybe you could scan in Mario and get a Mario cap or something. That's kind of stuff.
Definitely.
I know it's super vain, but that makes me kind of want to get a game. It's always nice when games add amiibo support, because then it's basically free DLC because we already own all the amiibo. So it's just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, Playgrounds I'd be more likely to do. NBA 2K18 is a little more Simsy and real for my taste. I kind of like that. If Playgrounds got skins of like different Mario characters and stuff with amiibo support, that would be epic, because that's kind of more of like a Strikers kind of style
like
game.
An arcade game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a fun little whimsical. Yeah, Strikers is a good example. The publisher for the game, Take-Two, had their CEO, Strauss Zelnick, go out, and he confirmed their excitement for the Switch platform, saying, quote, "We were excited 6 months ago and supportive, and now we're excited now. We have NBA 2K and WWE 2K coming for the Switch. The sales have been great. We expect sales to continue to be great. We're very optimistic around the platform. We're very supportive of Nintendo. So the only thing that's changed in the last 6 months is our initial belief has been reinforced by the early, very strong results." My Nintendo News adds that Zelnick has said in the past that although they're optimistic about the Switch, they've been selective with what games they're bringing to the platform. And a side note is that NBA 2K will release on September 19th as a digital release, with physical available this fall. And so I think we talked about it last week that Capcom was so pumped about the Street Fighter sales that now they're going to be supporting the Switch even more than they were before. And it seems like we're having that same thing with Take-Two Interactive, where they're like, all right, we're getting tons of sales on the Switch. The attach rate's awesome. We're bringing more games over. So it's just really kind of cool to be in this era of Nintendo where just developers are kind of freaking out almost. Like, oh, whoa, we got to get more stuff ready. Like,
the dark ages may be over.
Mm-hmm.
The dark ages may just be over. Maybe.
Splatoon 2 was data mined and information has been leaked. And so there's a few things in here that are a little bit like outdated. I think that they are pretty much sure it's been either scrapped or it's just completely maybe even tucked away. But I thought maybe we could go through here and see what may be on the horizon for our Splatoon 2 game. Reddit user Oatmeal Dome in the Splatoon subreddit shared some information found via Wii Sports Team, which apparently is a team that does data mining. And he said some information on the upcoming maps. Incomplete files for revamped versions of Kelp Dome and Black Belly Skate Park have been introduced in the 1.1.1.1 update. There are additional maps named Line and Tunnel, which are in development. Placeholder images for maps revealed in the direct named Kawa and Pillar are present. Nintendo is including testing versions of Shifty Station in updates. However, for Splatfest, the game downloads the real stage model and layout files separately. This explains why the existing files include debug and test objects. For those of you that don't know, Shifty Station is the Splatfest exclusive stage that changes each Splatfest. And so it looks like they kind of have a combination of files that only load during that Splatfest to prevent the different layouts. The developers are currently testing new Salmon Run stages with internal names of Shake House and 3 Points. New files for these maps have been introduced in the latest update as well, and these are the last of the 4 planned stages for Salmon Run as of version 1.0. So how about some upcoming weapons? Grizzco brand weapons are in the works: a blaster, charger, and umbrella. A new weapon type called the Squeezer is in development. Here is Sheldon's explanation for the Squeezer and an alternate version of it. And then so it looks like that's a link you can probably click there to get more information on the Squeezer. And then you can find more about the upcoming weapons on the full Splatoon weapons list. And a shout out to Leanne for providing this service. And then a quick word about Octolings, because I know personally I want to play as an Octoling, and Marina herself is an Octoling. I don't know why we can't be an Octoling. What was known as the player's gender from the original Splatoon has now been replaced by a parameter called player type. Another parameter called player type shares the same values as another parameter, model type. The possible values for these parameters are squid girl, squid boy, and oct. Near those values, we have found an additional value named octboy. This is based solely on information found in the Splatoon 2 executable. We do not have models, text, etc. for boy octolings at the moment. Additionally, since the values of player type and model type are shared, we cannot confirm that the octolings will be playable either without testing in-game, which isn't possible for any of us to do. And so we can't wait for all this content to be released. However, the game seems to be somewhat rushed to completion for version 1.0. Nintendo left behind a lot of things, even though they tried to clean up the files. Marooner's Bay isn't even finished in this version, and its English name is a direct translation of the Japanese text. Nintendo are secretly introducing new files via the balance updates. So kind of interesting that it seems like Splatoon 2 was rushed out, which isn't a surprising piece of news, that they wanted to make sure it was out right away.
Yeah.
They're sneaking things out with these weekly updates, but I think the coolest thing is that, I mean, obviously we're getting new maps and new weapons, but how cool would it be to play as an Octoling and have like the octopus tentacles coming out of your head? I mean, when you play the single player mode in Splatoon 1 and in Splatoon 2, sometimes you fight off against an Octoling and they hold the gun, they have the same animation as you, like they can go in and out of the water or the ink and all that. Like it makes sense for you to be able to fight them and play as them. I don't know. I expect that to be like a pretty substantial kind of, announcement that's like, here's a new wave of Splatoon content and the Octolings have like invaded, or Marina, like maybe playing off the favoritism of Marina, they can be like, now you can be Marina.
Yeah. Well, the other thought I thought was to, like you kind of say, the Octolings maybe have invaded. What if they just did something where they put them down in the town, like Inkopolis Square or something, and they're not really maybe necessarily playable, but it just kind of adds a whole variety of them that kind of sweep through. Yeah. Sort of like those other, what are those little blue guys called?
The jellyfish.
The jellies. Yeah. They just kind of like that, maybe like not necessarily where you play. Yeah, but it just makes me wonder, because I wondered, like, how would you switch, after you've already made your character?
Well, you can change your hairstyle now.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah,
well, yeah, if you can do that, I guess then maybe you'd be able to change your entire species type as well on the fly. But or maybe there's some sort of ticket that does it, or even maybe it's like a secret transformation they could have you do, where maybe you're not like, sort of how they do it in Mario 64 DS, where wasn't Yoshi just like copying, wearing like different hats to become, but technically the whole time you were really Yoshi, just disguised as different. But I don't know. It just seems like they could do an idea where you just temporarily take on the look. I
bet you have to get an Octoling amiibo, and you scan the amiibo in, and that's how you do it.
Could definitely be that.
Yeah, but really cool. Speaking of Splatoon 2, the results are in for the first Splatfest, and ketchup won popularity in North America. No surprise there, with a 73 to 27% lead. Yet mayonnaise won solo battles with a 52 to 48% lead, and also team battles with a 51 to 49% lead for a total of 2 wins for Mayo and Ketchup's 1 win. So Mayo won the Splatfest in a complete upset. I have some tweets here to read, but first and foremost, we also have to share that in Japan, Mayo won popularity with 56 to 44, so pretty close, and then won solo battles but lost team battles by 2 percentage points. And also, okay, we'll get to this in a second. But yeah, so it's also right before we started recording, it was confirmed that Mayo won in Europe as well. So across all different Splatfests, Mayo won.
Sweep. Just swept it all up.
Yeah, so the result for North America is based on North America as well as Australia and New Zealand battles. The first tweet would help if Ketchup hadn't been constantly matched against Ketchup. Guess popularity muddles team structure. People going on to complain about Ketchup versus Ketchup. Then someone replies, would you guys like some extra salt in your ketchup? And then a little gif of, this is what I used to create you. And then it has the Powerpuff Girls thing where it's salt, salt, and even more salt. Then someone tweeted a picture of all of their victories against Ketchup and said, did you even try Team Ketchup? In which someone replied, we did, against our own team. Someone then like pictures of that.
A lot of people, though, were complaining that, just a lot of people mindlessly went to Ketchup, and all the skilled, the select few that were super passionate.
That were invested. I was invested. I was fighting.
They fought hard for Mayo, and so, there's always that possibility. But, I mean, yeah.
Someone tweeted
the way that they do it must be matches alone, like if Mayo versus Ketchup, whoever wins the most, because it can't be just... I mean, if it was just by popularity and the Ketchup
or maybe
versus
ink
Ketchup,
covered, like because they do calculate how much ink you cover. Maybe whoever covered the most ink, but that doesn't make sense. You think they'd structure like that would be like a qualification for winning, and who won the most matches, but who covered the most ink. That would
most likely go to Ketchup, I would assume. Just if it was going like all those matches they played against each other.
I guess that's what the popularity vote is, but yeah, someone tweeted out how, and then someone replied because it's actual skill over picking favorites, and then someone said literally all the noobs picked Ketchup. Very few good players to go around, which cost us to win.
Yeah.
And then someone replied, no, it's because it was literally every match was Ketchup versus Ketchup, and that doesn't count. Although I did have a Mayo versus Mayo because I was Team Mayo. And yeah, I didn't know the Splatfest was mayonnaise versus salt, and then someone replied, I didn't know the Splatfest was ketchup versus ketchup. But yeah, lots and lots of tweets about that. Someone Googled how much salt does ketchup have. It's 154 milligrams. I never knew ketchup could be so salty. But yeah, I thought that was funny. And it's all over the place, like because obviously ketchup was the winner popularity wise, but interestingly enough, it wasn't popular in Japan, and a lot of people think it's because Marina is just really popular with a Western audience, and people are just favoriting her. And apparently Mayo tastes different, like in Europe and in Japan. Like it doesn't have the same kind of lardy taste, I guess it maybe does in the West. But yeah, I defended Team Mayo. I fought hard. I think I won more matches than I lost, so it makes sense to me. It wasn't like I got dominated by Ketchup. And I did have a few Mayo versus Mayo, and that's just the way it is. People tweeting out like hashtag not my condiment, like fake news. But I'm going with it. I'm super proud of my mayonnaise team. We have the thumbnail with the mayonnaise thing. And I think actually through the whole episode on the YouTube version, I'm going to try to just have my Mayo or my Splatfest footage in the background. Because I live streamed that for a couple hours, so I should have that footage available just to have as the background. But in Splatoon news, the Splooshomatic weapon has been added to the game with a pretty short range but a rapid-fire shoot rate. The weapon is ideal for penetrating opponents' territory and then tearing open holes into their defense. It comes with curling bombs and the splashdown special. So, new weapon that just got added to the game. But yeah, overall, Splatfest was a blast. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's turning into a really fun event. I never got really invested in the Wii U version, and this is just turning into I have to tune into Splatfest. It's so fun. And so, take it.
I didn't tune in at all.
Did you not?
I regretfully say, no, by the time we got in, I thought it might still be going, and it just ended, and we just played all those normal matches we got in there together. because it kind of came at a weird time for me. I just finished up the summer job, and Kayla just went on her Sturgis trip, so it was just me babysitting our puppy together and like all that, and then I was watching new episodes of my show, and so it was just all kind of a mess. I really wanted to get in there, but then I also got my SNES controller, which you know how that was going. Where
man, you'll have to check out the footage, because I guess you did watch me live stream a little bit.
I watched quite a bit of
the mayonnaise was epic, squirting that all over.
I know I watched quite a bit of your stream of it, but I was too all over the place and too excited about my SNES controller too.
The bummer part is you missed out on the sweet little rewards that they give you for participating, because
they
didn't give them for the ice cream cake one, but they
I actually got some rewards, even just for picking the right team.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got 16 of those little mushroom spike things, and that allows you to unlock slots in your armor, which gives you more ability perks. And so all of my armor now has 3 ability perks, which is going to be really nice to have. Like, those give you a huge one-up in battle, because some of them can like make you, run faster and swim faster and all of that. So really exciting to have that. So definitely look forward to the next Splatfest. And so far I'm 2 for 0. I've won with ice cream and mayo, so I'm hoping to stick with it.
Me too. I did, and I even kind of wanted to go ketchup. I wanted to switch, but. And not because of Marina either. It was just because of my own thoughts, and it was like a huge internal philosophical debate with me. I was really torn between the two, and eventually, I was like, Pikachu in that ketchup video is one of the most amazing videos I've ever seen of all time. And I just love ketchup too. I remember the time I went to Johnny Rockets, and we got some super hot fries. We had ketchup with it. It was so freaking good that I was just like, ketchup. I kind of want to pick that. I just don't have the same memories with mayo. I know. So I was kind of in that weird space about it, but it ended up working out because mayo won. So I was kind of just. I
made a video for Koppai about mayo. I was waving the mayo
you were
flag.
Into it. You were
I was into it. Yeah, I was defending mayo pretty hard, because I still defend it. Like, even like. Forget Pearl Marina. Mayo, I can live in a world without ketchup. I can't live in a world without mayo. It's simple as that. Moving on in the news, we got a lot of quick news updates here. There's lots of Dragon Quest news. Builders 2 was revealed for the Switch, which is really exciting. Yeah. I'm going to probably pick that up, although my OCD hates that we don't have Dragon Quest Builders 1. We'll have 2 on the Switch. Yeah. But it's basically Minecraft meets a JRPG, which is awesome. Dragon Quest 11 is coming to the Switch when the time is right. Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are coming to the dead 3DS console in Japan in August. Number 7, remember Yooka-Laylee? For the Nintendo Switch. So does Platonic Games. They said in a tweet, quote, "Something for the weekend, Nintendo Switch fans. The team continues to work hard, and we hope to have some more news soon. Thanks for your support," along with a photo of Yooka-Laylee running on the Switch. And so I'm waiting out for this version. I'm super excited that all the patch changes will make it the refined experience. And then with Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, Mario Odyssey, and then Yooka-Laylee, this fall is going to be like the return of the 3D platformer.
And what's also kind of cool is Grant Kirkhope had also tweeted out something about that it was running really, really well. And somebody had pointed out, somebody said, I hope so, because what's interesting is that the Platonic is actually doing the port in studio themselves for the Switch, whereas the PS4 and the Xbox One version supposedly were handed off to another team. And so this is getting much more of just a hands-on from the people who made the game themselves. Yeah. And so it'll have much more of that home touch to it and care and love, hopefully. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. And rapid fire news segment. Number 8, ARMS is getting a balancing update. Number 9, indie puzzle adventure game Rhyme launches for the Switch on November 14th, Zach's birthday. Also alongside Marvel Superheroes 2 on the Switch. So you get a couple games on your birthday there. Number 10, Minecraft Story Mode Complete Switch Edition is coming to the Switch on August 22nd, Dad's birthday. And then Season 2 is this fall. Also in Minecraft news, the Better Together update beta began last week. And so hopefully that means we get Better Together and Realms on the Switch soon. Number 11, Persona Q2 is coming to the 3DS, even though that console is dead. Number 12, Mario Odyssey had a change in box art, most likely due to the new Underwater Kingdom being announced. Not an issue of race. For those of you that don't know, they changed that little sombrero Mario with an underwater Mario. That they did that change the same day they announced the Underwater Kingdom. And everyone thought it was about like the racist stereotype of like, a sombrero Mario man. But it was really just because they announced the new Underwater Kingdom, and that little picture looked way cooler than him shivering in a sombrero.
Yeah, it definitely goes. It's a design choice that made a ton of sense. That old picture of Mario in the desert area.
It was like a screen grab of like the actual
it
game.
was like a blurry mid motion, and it was not good. And so it looks a lot better, and actually adds more variety to the themes that are presented on the cover, because we already kind of have sort of a dry look in several areas of the cover. So to add that underwater just adds variety and looks a lot better.
We'll probably see Sombrero Mario on the back of it just like showed you. Also in Mario Odyssey news, it's the first ever E10 Plus rated Mario game. And so we got that Pauline in there. Gotta make sure you're 10 years old to be playing Mario. Number 13, the SNES Mini pre-orders are coming later this month, and they should have more supply, according to a Nintendo Facebook post. Cordiella and Female Robin are coming to Fire Emblem Warriors, which is exciting. Resident Evil Revelations 1+2 is or 1 and 2, but the way they tiled it is 1+2. Are coming to the Switch this fall. Number 16, new Super Mario Bros. 2 White and Red 2DS bundle was announced and will launch on August 25th for $80. I really want it because I love the classic Wedge 2DS. I love my wife's. It's really fun to play. And I love the white and red. It's Koppai colors. So I want to pick that up for $80. I don't know. The console is dead, but we'll see. Number 17, Monster Hunter Stories 3DS demo is available August 10th, so just a few days away, with the full release coming in September 8th. I kind of want to try this out just because I want to get into Monster Hunter, and that story seems like a pretty accessible point, so I may check out that demo. And speaking of games you can play right now, the last bit of the Nintendo pipeline, number 18, the US downloads for this week. Retro City Rampage DX is on the Nintendo Switch. The Retro City Rampage game reimagines the open world crime genre of the 80s. Rampage the city, steal cars, or play over 60 story mode missions. This remastered pop culture send-up features a full story mode of open world missions, along with arcade challenges for quick pick up and play action, explore the city by foot or by car, and discover minigames, customizations, collectibles, and special guest stars. Basically, Grand Theft Auto if Grand Theft Auto was a retro, classic Switch game. So,
yeah, it's much like the original Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely worth picking up.
Yeah.
Play with your little SNES controller, have a blast. There's also lots of sales this week on the eShop. I Am Setsuna. You can download the authentic JRPG style of yesteryear on the Nintendo Switch console and save 33% for a limited time. That offer ends August 10th, and I really, really want to do it because I would love a JRPG, although I probably should just go ahead and play Disgaea, so I probably won't get it, but really tempting because I hear that game's amazing. Colin Moriarty was always raving about it. Nintendo eShop on Wii U and 3DS has great deals this week. You can check out the full list of deals on Nintendo's website, but I think they had a big Kirby sale going on for his 25th anniversary. And then also, finally, ending out the Nintendo pipeline are the last games of the week. Neo Geo Aero Fighters for the Switch, Slime Sand for the Switch, Gun Barrack for the Nintendo Switch, Strikers 1945 for Nintendo Switch, Puzzle Adventure Blockle on the Switch, Use Your Words on the Switch, Infinite Mini Golf on the Switch, and then Voxel Maker on the dead 3DS.
And I got two of those. I got Slime Sand and Infinite Mini Golf, and both of them are awesome games. I'd say
What's Slime Sand?
Slime Sand is kind of like a Super Meat Boy sort of game, is like the best way I would describe it. Because it's got very, very similar mechanics as
I've
Super
seen
Meat
this.
Boy. And so it uses about 4 basic colors. It's very much like a Game Boy Color game, but a lot of people are praising it as, it's at the same level as a Super Meat Boy, a Shovel Knight, or some people are even saying it's just as good as like Super Mario World or any, classic platformer. I believe there's like It's a $12 game. It's
Okay.
$11.99, so it's definitely worth it. I would highly recommend you pick it up because I played the first couple levels, and what it is I believe there's 100 levels or so, maybe 100 or more, and they're each made up of 4 areas that you have to get through, and
Okay.
so it's basically like 400 rooms, 400 little levels to get through, as well as collectibles in each one. I think there's like 5 apples that you have to collect, and once you beat the level, those apples turn into cord apples so that when you replay it, you don't have to make sure you collect them all each time. Like you can go back and just collect, kind of like Mario works, where if you get 2 of the gold coins, you just have to go back in and find that last one that you can't find. The other one's
Nice.
kind of turn transparent. This is the same way where you have that extra challenge of trying to collect everything, all of the apples in each level, as well as performing the challenge. And then I believe there's extra challenges and even other things to do for extra replayability and extra challenge. So it's packed. This game just has a lot of content for
That's
12
awesome.
bucks. Yeah, definitely an excellent new indie retro style game out on the Nintendo Switch.
Cool.
And then Infinite Mini Golf, of course, probably doesn't need to explain too much. It's not doesn't play too much like a Mario Golf game. It's more of like the Tiger Woods, where you have to pull back on the stick to judge your strength of your shot, and then let go of it, and you'll hit it. But you still have to. I mean, there's tons of obstacles in the way. It's like Mario Maker, where you can just make infinite amount of courses. Last time I checked, I think there was like 8,000 or more online that it was pulling from. So every time you play like a 10-hole course with somebody, it can be a brand new experience that you've never had before.
Awesome.
Or you can play from one of their pre-selected themes. It comes from the same developers of Zen Studios, who make those really awesome pinball, authentic arcade-style games that have all the different themes like Star Wars, Family
Marvel, yeah,
Guy, and
really cool.
Marvel, and yeah. So it's really great developers. They're probably going to announce more themes and updates for it in the future. That was also just $14.99, so not too terribly
Okay. Yeah.
expensive to hold you by until like a better golf game comes along. But I seriously think for the price, I've been having a blast with it, playing it with my wife. If you have somebody, if you have like a significant other, a sibling in the house, or somebody to play it with, I think that you will definitely have fun with it.
Or, I mean, it's the Switch, so you can just take it out to the park, and
Yeah.
while you're trying to catch Lugia and the shady people are coming, be like, hey, come over here. You want to play some Infinite Mini Golf? And they'll be like, hey. And then you pull out the little Joy-Cons and you start swinging them around.
That's the
Um,
ticket.
I also hear, like, Use Your Words is fun, and I want to check out these other games. There's so many games, but to round out the show, kind of our theme of the episode, let's talk real quick about what our backlogs are and what we're going to maybe be playing for the foreseeable future here. As I'm going to be finishing out Blaster Master, as I said at the start of the show. I think after Blaster Master, one of the games I think the next one I'm going to be moving on into for a Let's Play series and just to tackle my personal backlog is going to be Mighty Gun Vault Burst. I own 26 or 24 games on my Switch, and I've only played like 3. So.
Yeah, I had said earlier that Blaster Master Zero, that YouTuber had said it's going to be a hidden gem. I think that it's actually Mighty Gun Volt Burst that they were referring to. I mean, I think both games are going to be, but I think Mighty Gun Volt is. I mean, people are really ecstatic. I think one of the reasons people are more excited about it is because of how bad Mighty Number 9 was received.
This
and
is
how
what it should have been.
Yeah, and this is what it should have been, and people might. I think the point that they made was that because of Mighty Number 9's reputation, people might turn away from this game and think maybe it's kind of the same sort of same deal with this, but actually this is an excellent game. This is what it should have been, like you say.
It's too late. I already bought it.
Yeah.
So no turning
Me
back.
too.
And I also want to check out, always I want to be playing through Master Mode. That'll be getting a lot of my attention until like Mario and Rabbids. But I do want to go back and finally complete Wonder Boy because that was an awesome, awesome game and something I want to complete. And, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to be in that mood for, Mr. Shifty. That's a game I want to check out. But I'm really trying to figure out the best way to go about Snake Pass because that's a game I definitely want to go through in 100% and get all the, little knickknacks and paddywhacks. But it was also a game I remember being a little frustrated with. Sometimes the controls weren't as intuitive as I wish they could be. a little bit of a frustrating moment where you're trying to control this snake. That's a game that I don't want to. None of these games on my Switch do I want to ignore, and not play. Like if I bought them, I want to at least make my way through them.
Yeah.
But Snake Pass is one of the ones that's kind of at the bottom of the rung, I think, as far as the games I'm moving to next.
The way I think that you should tackle Snake Pass is whenever you're feeling kind of a moment where you're maybe chatting on the PC, you're not like totally engaged in a game. You can kind of turn it on, be in the level. You don't have to be constantly focused. More of a casual sort of, almost like I would do like my Minecraft. When I'm really feeling like maybe it's late at night, I'm not looking for as much of a thoughtful, like engaging, have to be super active experience. Maybe you could slither your way over to an obstacle you have to get to, kind of stop there.
I'd like to do a Let's Play series of it because I feel like it could be pretty prime for that. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be having too much fun with it.
It just seems such a casual, kind of passive experience in a lot of ways.
And the music is pretty repetitious. It's Grant Kirkhope again, who does Banjo-Kazooie and ukulele, but the music did get a little... Like, you could almost, they must not have been able to license him or pay him for too long of melodies because it really does repeat itself.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, too, that you might want to do with it, like last night I took my Switch to bed with me and was playing, about 30, 40 minutes of Minecraft just in bed and kind of almost like reading a book before bed, to where it was so casual and just, doing a few chores that it ended up getting me kind of sleepy and, eyes heavy. I could see going to bed and turning on Snake Pass and just doing some of that mindless slithering around and collecting things could kind of be a good before bed, just do 30 minutes and try to get the completion collectibles and knock all that out. I mean, that's the way I might approach it. So
some games, obviously I'm looking forward to Super Mario Odyssey and Pokken and Mario plus Rabbids and all of the games coming out this fall. Marvel Superheroes 2 I did not realize was coming to the Switch, and that gets me really excited because I hear the Marvel Lego games in particular are some of the best they do because of the cast of characters. They're able to do lots of wacky stuff with them compared to something like Jurassic Park Lego or Star Wars Lego, where it was, you're pretty much set to this one cast of characters. They can't go as crazy. So that's pretty exciting. But on my wish list, I do want to pick up Overcooked after it gets patched up and Death Squared for some fun with my wife. Oceanhorn is a game I think I'd really enjoy on the Switch. And even though I have Breath of the Wild, I think Oceanhorn could be a fun kind of Zelda-type game. There's lots of...
But that's already out. That's been out.
Yeah, we're going through my wish list here of games that I have been out, but I haven't been able to pick up yet.
Weren't you saying something about, I Am Setsuna being...
It's on sale, yeah.
Did Colin say something about that?
He was. I thought he was raving about it. He said it was one of the best JRPGs he's played. I had thought.
Because I've heard kind of lukewarm feelings about that game. That it's a very, very monotone. It's all one kind of snowy climate. Yeah. It's all, the characters aren't super engaging. They're not very charismatic. They're all kind of one tone, one note. The music's all very solemn piano. It's all very one note. There's just not a lot of engagement, but that the combat system is very Chrono Trigger like, so that it's got a kind of cool combat, but otherwise story wise it's a very strict
That's
JRPG.
The thing, it's on sale, so I would love to get it on sale because it sounds like half of it maybe is amazing, and so if I get half of it for half the price,
I'm just giving you a fair warning from what I've seen. I'll get in that kind of space where
you're the guy that bought Othello. Get off my back.
But Othello's awesome. I'm telling you.
Right,
Othello was $5, but I'm just saying I've gotten the space where I've thought about I Am Setsuna several times, and every time I start going into one of these chains and researching if it's worth it of comments and people's suggestions, they're all maybe it's a 5 or 6 out of 10, but really, unless you are absolutely 100% craving a strict hardcore JRPG experience that really is just that and not much beyond, not much story, not much else, then maybe you might want to pass. The only reason that I'm kind of wanting to maybe push myself to go through I Am Setsuna is because there's a sequel coming that's already been announced, and that seems like they might improve on some of the things from the first, and maybe it would be good to have that context. Otherwise, Disgaea is something that
Yeah, I have
looks way
Disgaea.
more appealing and way more worth its value than I Am Setsuna, despite like the price point being double for Disgaea because of the discount. I just think I'm torn about it. From what I've heard, I just want to throw that out there for anybody else who might have heard that and been like, "Oh, should I really get I Am Setsuna? Is it really awesome?" Like, I don't know. I've heard some kind of
Nintendo Life gave it a 70 out of 100 and says, those not looking to take a trip down memory lane may be left wanting more, though in pure gameplay hours, this offers a reasonable return on investment. The no-thrills plotline and gameplay outside of combat have been fleshed out, leaving this one short of its full potential. I Am Setsuna could be the perfect complement to your Nintendo Switch, but if you're not foaming at the mouth with nostalgia, it's certainly an optional purchase. And so, and then we have digitally downloaded, which is they always do this. And they gave it a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
And said that gorgeous big screen makes for an incredible display of the game's endless winter. And if you're in the mood for the big television experience, you need only dock the console once you're back at home.
yeah.
The
Well,
added, I think they were freaking out that the Switch just came out because they say the added benefit is that the game doesn't tax the Switch's battery anywhere near as badly as games like Zelda does. And I've been able to use the game to make train trips absolutely bearable with a good pair of headphones for both the trip and the return.
Yeah.
So not one thing about the game besides the fact that the game is always in winter. I think they were just pretty excited to have a game on the Switch because that was 3 days after the Switch came out that their review went live. So
Yeah, wow. Yeah, because it was a launch title. And people were kind of even talking about then, like, wasn't it like a year and a half old by the time even the Switch came out? Like, we're getting this old like RPG that we've already had. But yeah, I think we were just talking. You guys will hear it in the Let's Play series of Mario Kart when we were talking about some of our least favorite tracks, and it was I think it was Ice, or
Sherbet something.
Sherbet Land was like just I had made the point that winter locations, when they're limitedly used, they're okay and I can tolerate them and find beauty in it and think like, oh, this is a really nice change of pace. But I have to be able to kind of like leave there and go back to some nature and some beautiful scenery when it's just all nonstop, this drab, like dreary white
endless winter.
It's not the most appealing thing for me. I was kind of looking forward to hopefully there's some part of the game where you get out of that and there's some other locations just to get so you're not just constantly your brain just getting bored with the same visuals over and over again. It seems like that's something that's like I was mentioning Disgaea, that there's a huge range of
it's insanely gorgeous.
So
yeah, Nintendo World Report sums it up well, and they say it's surrounded by some very depressing environments that make getting the best of the battle system difficult. Bundle up and get ready for a short story with a lot of snow. So yeah, it just seems maybe a little too snowy. But I bet the game. It sounds like everyone's saying the gameplay is awesome. It just sucks that the environment's so bad. But yeah, I think with Disgaea out now, I don't know if that'll be one to pick up, even though it's on sale. So I'm glad we talked about that because I was probably gonna grab it, and you talked me out of it. So now I can just focus on the games I actually have. You saved me from buying yet another game for my Switch. It's just got the itch.
Well, and we got Sonic Mania coming out soon, and then we got
2 weeks,
I'm also
less than 2
looking.
weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Rayman Legends when that comes out again. Like I haven't really gotten super into Rayman ever, and I'm really excited to jump in and have Rayman on the Switch to go through all that. It'd be really cool if they actually released, like, I don't know how Legends works, but I thought a few years before they'd released Rayman Origins, and I just like to have all the Rayman games we can get on there, just platforming games in general. I'm a huge fan of platformers.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. Would love to get also like a Donkey Kong Country port, like a pack of those if they just release Returns and Tropical Freeze together. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Where are the Platinum games? Where's our Bayonetta? Where's our Wonderful 101 Deluxe?
Yeah, Wonderful 101's got to be possibly coming with that teaser we got. Yeah. But Lego Worlds I'm also excited for. Of course, Realms, still waiting for that. And so, yeah, that's basically it for me.
We've had a good time, though. We're kind of getting through the retro indies now that we've had some time with the Switch. Some of the games that got overshadowed by Zelda at the start now have a good chance to get some breathing room. And the cool thing is we don't even have to buy them because we bought them all at lunch with our hype. And so we're playing through those, and we got the big heavy hitters coming now. So we may expect a few more episodes like this, where it's just kind of tackling the backlogs and little release dates for the fall that don't mean anything quite yet. But yeah, that's episode 66 of Koppai Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, be sure to super smash that like, subscribe, and share button, as well as the little tiny bell to be notified of when we post new videos each and every day. This week, I think we're going to be averaging about 3 videos a day with Splatoon, Zelda, and Mario Kart. And next week, we'll be averaging about 4 videos a day with Splatoon, Zelda, Mario Kart, and Blaster Master Zero. And so you don't have to watch all of them. The cool thing is you can kind of take your pick as if we're a TV channel, and you can watch what you want. And we just appreciate any of the support. If you feel inclined, maybe just hop over to a video and just leave it a like, just so we have that support there. But if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine as well. We just appreciate the like and subscribe. That honestly means a lot to us. And also, if you're listening on a podcast app or something like that, be sure to leave us a review. And if you're listening on YouTube, maybe hop over to the podcast app, even if you don't normally use it. Just leave us a review there. That helps push us to the top. Because right now, if you search Nintendo on a podcast app, we don't pop up because we don't have enough reviews to push us up in that, search engine optimization. So people have to search for Koppai. And honestly, who's searching for the word Koppai? And so if you want to spread us around, that's the best way to go about doing it, is by giving us a review over there if you're listening on YouTube. And so that'll help us a lot, but be sure to check out the Let's Plays we have going up this week. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, twitch.tv, all of that as Koppai Gaming, and you can find all of that on koppaigaming.com. But we'll be back next week with episode 67, talking more about Nintendo. But until next time, cool.